Welcome there, invaders. I am Coach from the Scene Invaders channel. Joined today with me is Brad. Brad from Canada.
How's it going, eh?
Oh man. So Brad, this is our third episode of going over The Last of Us. So
Season 2.
far, yeah, season 2. So far, how are you like with the season so far?
So far, I am actually really with it. As I said, we're both devout players of the game. I think
Yep.
we're both currently playing it again right now,
Yep.
and I I like the pacing.
Yep.
Beyond some coincidences that bring us to our story, but how else are you going to get there?
Right.
But we're just it's in line. I'm a fan of the game, and I'm really a fan of this show right now.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen kind of the hot take people try and pick it apart, but so far I'm staying with it, and like I'm enjoying it so far. It's giving me things that the game not necessarily couldn't give me.
Right.
um I like the pacing. I'm curious to see where they go. This is one of those where they really kind of play with time that messes with us who play the game.
Yes.
And a little bit of bouncing around. But I mean, I thought we'd be inundated this morning with, oh, the episode after the untimely death of Joel. Nobody's watching anymore. That's what I thought I'd wake up to today.
I did too, because I know a lot of people are a fan of Pedro Pascal. Well, guess
Mhm.
what? You're in luck. He's in everything else.
Exactly, and
So, I mean,
and he's in this. He's like they're
and he is in this.
he's going to keep being in this. It's just a
Yeah,
matter of fulfilling the story.
but they did do a kind of a playful thing with the title card, if you noticed.
Yeah, so that one hit me in the feels when it's just like,
Well, I was noticing, I was looking at it, and it said starring, and it said Bella Ramsey, and I'm like,
yeah,
oh my God, Pedro's not even in the opening
well,
credits,
yeah,
and then
he
this
lost
single
billing.
spire from the mushroom just showing one person. I'm like,
Yep.
wow.
Well,
There's other people in Jackson. There's nobody else, huh? The last
speak
the last of me.
the last of me.
That's it.
Speaking of Joel, we start the episode with probably what is Tommy seeing his brother for the first time.
And the last time.
And the last time, Joel is in the morgue, he's being cleaned up, and Tommy comes in and is kind of coming to grips with everything. And that's kind of the first kind of thing we see from him. Then of course we get the title card. Well, I'm sorry, I rushed it already, but he has the heartbreaking line of "Give Sarah my love."
Oh God, that hit me.
Yeah.
That hit me because I just replayed part 1 as well.
Oh boy.
And when you play a bunch of video games back to back, and then you're playing part 2, and you're really happy that you got to kill all the bad guys and all that stuff, and you replay part 1, and then it kind of flashes. You remember, oh God, I'm about to cry.
Right.
And then no, I teared up when he said "Send Sarah my love," and I'm like, oh, God,
Yeah.
oh yeah,
And then
it's a video game. Come on, this should not be like this.
it takes us then to Ellie's in the hospital, and kind of I guess it's her first conscious wake up. I mean, she was kind of in and out of consciousness.
Yeah, and she's got a tube draining fluid from her. So
Right.
I'm not a doctor, but I'm assuming it's a collapsed lung.
Which I was too, and this is the only time I've really questioned it this year is how can you scream with the collapsed lung? But
When you're that mad,
you're that upset when you lose that much, you can.
I guess.
And we kind of just do a little bit of fast forward at this point, and
3
then
months.
3 months.
They're
She's
still
about to get
rebuilding.
right. Um, still rebuilding. You see, Tommy is not what Tommy used to be.
He could be feeling his age, or maybe he has just lost his vigor to actually do this. I mean, Joel's the older brother.
Yeah.
So I have an older brother. It does not matter how old I get.
Mm-hmm.
He's always going to be a small source of inspiration to, hey, look what I did. It doesn't matter. That doesn't go away. until your brother goes away.
Yeah, I get it, and it's something he's missing something, and I think the
Yeah.
death of his brother is weighing on him, but
Weighing on a few people.
weighing on many. And as the episode goes, it again goes to Ellie in the hospital. At this point, like she's about to get discharged, and there's just one more person you need to see, and that is everybody's favorite psychiatrist,
Psychotherapist.
psychotherapist. She doesn't get to do the drugs.
Yes. Well, no, she does all the drugs.
She does the drugs.
She just doesn't prescribe them.
She doesn't prescribe. And Ellie kind of just gives her, though, it's what she wants to hear.
Yeah. Ellie's not so much of a smart ass, but kind of the adequate ass to get herself out.
Right.
But
yeah,
she's not buying it.
She's not getting anything by anybody. That comes back to bite her a little bit later. In the episode, we'll see. So as she's discharged, she goes back to Joel's house, and this is a kind of really good back and forth between the game, almost a scene for scene.
Yeah, they did it. They did it really well, and I know Bella's gotten quite a lot of flack, but not by the way she acts. Unfortunately, it's just from her appearance, which is very unfair. But she can act, and she acted the hell out of that scene, dropping the tears, just the panic, the determination, just how lost she really felt. Because that was probably the first time she was inside that house since she moved into the garage.
Right. And she started with opening up her room, her old room.
And she saw that the only thing that, the mattress wasn't there, but that's because it's in her room in the garage. Other than that, Joel has not touched that room.
There was a awesome Easter egg I saw when she opened the door, though.
What's that?
Which is the hat, which is on top of her dresser, which the hat will come into play later.
Okay.
The hat has been on some very, very, very old things. So, it is such a tiny Easter egg, but those who know.
Well, that's great. I love that.
So
glad you're paying attention.
That, and you have like the picture of the astronaut. Like it is very young Ellie and not adult Ellie, as we kind of see what the garage has become.
Yes. Yeah.
So after the heartbreaking, she gets his old gun. She sees his old watch. She smells the shirt and drops the tear. Dina is then downstairs.
Yeah, and Dina's downstairs with
cookies
and bad news. Good bad news?
I love the thing of I made you cookies. Oh, just for the heck of it? No, I'm going to make you angry.
Yeah, I'm about to make you angry. Yeah, peace offering.
Yeah. So, Dina drops the truth bomb.
And the truth is that she knows the people's names that did that to Joel and knows where they reside. Now, this was kind of a neat thing because Ellie naturally was mad. He's like, you killed us time. Like, so like you were in the hospital, town was grieving. And I really like this line to let them get there.
Right.
Let them go where they're going and then we'll show up.
Right.
I thought that was kind of that's not verbatim, the line, but I thought it was just kind of a neat sentiment. Like, we don't know. Now they have time. They've had time to get. Now we know where they are.
Right. It's one thing to find a needle in a haystack. It's another thing to find a needle in 20 million haystacks.
Yes, exactly. And they got the
who knows what route they took to get back to Seattle.
Yeah. Well, Dina plays a part in that later as well.
Right. So basically, Ellie slides the cookies back in a show of, we're all good.
Okay, you're right. You're right. And, I hate that you're right, but you're right.
Yeah, fine. And then we get the Ellie going to Tommy.
Yes.
And it's if we're going to do this, we need to do it the right way.
Yeah, considering Tommy's wife is a pretty, like, I don't know if she mayor of the town or like the
Yeah, I think
current.
she is the mayor of the town or head of the
Yeah,
council or whatever their chosen structure of
yeah,
government is.
monochrome is, and they do.
Yeah, it's well. Before we get to that point, we have a whip
Mm,
and pan, and the sound that causes everybody's heart to skip a beat when they're playing the game,
no kidding. Oh,
which is the infamous whistle. Now they don't name the people.
no, but if you have played the game, they have a certain look to them,
Yes.
and everyone has the same feature, which is I don't. We were looking at this, and my girlfriend, we were watching it, and she said, "Why do they cut their faces?
Hmm.
Because there's two slashes up their cheeks.
Right.
It almost looks like it's a smile."
It is almost a smile. They're the Seraphites to themselves. They're the scars to the wolves.
Yeah,
Eh,
and they're kind of religious zealots.
Yeah, it is funny how, as we're introduced to the wolves via Abby,
Yes,
they go through when she goes through this big monologue is that they live by a code.
yes,
And then the
they,
Seraphites, or we can call them whatever, the unknown for this point at this
yeah,
point.
but they're Seraphites. They're
Yeah,
almost look like monks. They carry primitive weapons. The hammer seems to be a big weapon
right,
or symbol, and they have um, one they call the prophet.
right,
That, well, I thought the prophet was to keep us safe. Well, no, little one, the prophet is our inspiration. We keep ourselves safe,
right,
which is we're not just gonna drop on our knees and start praying if something goes
right.
down.
But they seem to almost have a code themselves. We're introduced to the whistling, which is a form of communication for them.
Yeah. But
Oh man.
then we're introduced to, well, we don't even know what we're introduced to because there's the warning whistle and
Right.
they scatter.
They
They,
scatter, and then the thing is, are they demons? And no, they were wolves.
yeah, they said,
So
what's out there? Is it demons? He
right.
says, no, it's wolves.
And
Now,
demons are basically what they refer to as the infected.
yes, yeah,
Well,
and we
yeah,
pan away.
we pan away and we're back at Jackson. Ellie is training and then tries to basically, get ahead of the vote and talk to Jesse.
Yeah, Jesse's on the council now, so she tries to sway him. Hey,
Right,
you're on my side, right? And Jesse is ambiguous, but offers her, I mean, we know he's not, but
right,
offers her a chunk of advice, which is really good advice, is, hey, write it down,
hmm
practice it,
right.
and don't be angry.
She's like, "What? Because
Because
I'm stupid?" No,
no,
because you're
because you're angry.
angry. Right,
And the council is not going to vote for angry.
right.
And I just like that. I thought that was a
Yeah,
good chunk of advice.
yeah. He comes off a little bit Boy Scout, but we all know he does have a brain uh, outside of the rules.
And he's a fan of the Millers,
Right.
Tommy and Joel.
We get to the infamous council, and it is good to see that after the apocalypse, there are still Karens, and it starts with the scene almost out of Parks and Recreation of a guy. We
No
should be doing
corn.
turkeys, not chickens, because the average growth of and it's like, oh, dude,
Yeah,
and
you
even
say nobody listens to you, so you're taking this point to
yep,
talk about something you need to get your point across. And yeah, this guy would be as soon as he digs up some kind of recording device, he's gonna have his own podcast for Jackson. That's
exactly.
this guy. That's this guy.
The topic on hand is basically to have 16 of their best and most capable basically go and hunt down the murderer of Joel. We
And
get
to execute them.
execute him. We have a mother with a child that comes up and expresses her point of view. We have another elderly gentleman that comes up and kind of puts a pacifistic view on it, and then we get what turns to be the beginning of the redemption of Seth,
Yes. Seth, the
the
bigot.
maker of bigot sandwiches.
Yes, the maker of the bigot sandwich. The last man that Joel beat the shit out of. We don't know. We don't. I just pushed him down, but it was fun too. And he just lays a monologue of, "Hey, pussies,
Right.
stop being pussies, or else they're gonna come and treat us like pussies."
Yes. I did have a bit of the end scene logic from like Team America World Police going through my head of like, we can be dicks, but yeah. And then ultimately they have to basically quiet Seth down. They call a vote, and the vote is no.
Yeah, I think it was 8-3.
Yeah, and
yeah,
at which point it is basically Dina giving the plan to Ellie. Ellie is already packing up.
She's loaded for
doing
bear.
it poorly.
She's got guns and some more guns
and sneakers.
Dina's like, "Do you know where you're going? Because I have a map, so we're going to go this way.
Right.
You can't do this. You need boots. Those are very nice guns, but we also need food.
Right.
We need batteries. We need provisions. We don't know how long we're going to go. We're taking one horse." And it's just like, oh.
And it's funny because like one of the things of the game of everybody's like, why is she wearing Chuck Taylors in the middle of winter? And so this is we have finally got rid of the sneakers and we've got boots. They are prepared and they have packed everything they have, and they sneak out in the middle of the night, only to have the further redemption of Seth.
Yeah, with Seth's help. And the first thing he does is look at her gun, her rifle, her long-range rifle, and says, "Trade. This one's better.
This is better." Take it.
Yep. He's packed their saddlebags with
stuff he has squirreled away.
Ammo, he's squirreled away.
Basically, medical stuff, some food,
alcohol, bandages, all the stuff that you scroll through in the game. That I need alcohol, I need bandages, I need this,
all the things that you just keep trying to get, no matter if you become an absolute hoarder in the game.
Yes.
No, I don't want to give it away yet. I may need it later.
Exactly. It's but just the fact that I noticed that that's what he took, that's what he offered, and it like pinged that little memory. I'm like, oh, just like in the game. They're really good with sprinkling these things through.
Yes, they are. And at this point, we start the incredibly visual journey of Dina and Ellie. They do start by going to Joel's headstone.
Yeah, and one thing I noticed was when there's a lot of headstones because they had to bury a lot of people.
Right.
They bury them 10 miles out of town. Mm-hmm. I didn't know if that's because infected.
I would assume maybe in case they can't come back from the dead type of thing.
Exactly. So they got to trek 10 miles.
Right.
Pain in the ass. Right after you died. Then you got to walk.
Right.
But I like that all the tombstones were wooden.
Right.
Which is practical. And they could have, the producers could have said, okay, we'll just find an old graveyard and let's just do this. No, they built one. Right. And they made it out of wood because that's what you would have.
Right.
And that's what you would use. And so I like the small little details like that.
Yeah, and we never get to see his headstone.
No.
Because I believe in the game it's father and brother and father or something like that.
Yeah. And Ellie drops a handful of coffee beans.
Such a nice little, that's something that
beautiful send off.
Yeah, that's something that that they understand the story and they know where they have come from and where they're going as well.
Yes, agree.
Well,
where they're going is Seattle.
We have a couple of nice landscape shots.
Much like the game, because the game is extremely beautiful just as you're doing the simple traveling. The two of them on the horse. And it took me right to it. Now,
Um,
a thing of not so beauty that they come across is one of the seraphs.
yeah, but we come across what seems to be the remnants of what we saw before.
Yeah. A guy is on the path and he says, well, it looks like he was running away. He was shot in the
Mhm.
back. And there's a bunch of different caliber bullets, which has me a little suspect because we'll find out later, but it it seems too scattered for what we come up across. And if like we're thinking, okay, it's the wolves,
Right.
right? They got the weapons, but then you go into the forest and everybody's killed. Like
Yeah,
that entire
there's a massacre.
crew,
Like
um,
the kids are killed. Everybody is killed. Dina comes out basically throwing up.
vomiting. Yeah.
Now, is that a Chekhov's gun? We don't know yet. The game will tell us one thing, but the show might tell us another because
Exactly.
it's a legitimate thing of this. She's like, the smell just absolutely got to me. And
Yeah.
Ellie goes and sees the horror of the massacre.
Yeah. And I mean, if the wolves do live by a code, it's definitely an evolving code if they did that. So we're not even sure if they did it.
Yeah, I mean, like it's kind of like who else could it be? But who knows at this point?
Raiders.
Because yeah, it could be anybody at this
It's always
point.
those damn Raiders in that game.
In the game, there is a number of people that are taken out, and we later find it is a different character that
Yes.
does take them out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we have the basically the final scene with paramilitary, like not necessarily tanks, but armored vehicles with guns.
Yeah. And
And
everybody wearing the wolf crest, WLF. And I mean, if you thought that they were just 5 people, they're not.
right,
They are a highly armored, rather decorated troop of militia or militants or
well
something.
trained militants,
Yeah,
and it's just a scary sight. It's a scary visual to give of basically shoulder to shoulder overtaking the streets.
weapons,
Weapons,
embark,
yeah,
radio contact, good lookouts. So
yep,
if you're thinking, if you're on, which you probably are, Ellie and Dina's side, you're like, ooh, this just got a lot harder.
yep.
Like, yeah,
Yeah, and basically, Ellie and Dina have basically made it to Seattle at this point. You get the great view of Seattle as well
very cool.
as, you're just kind of curious, okay, what's going to happen next? And that's basically the episode. It is,
A good setup.
basically, yeah, we needed to get the characters from point A to point B. Let's sprinkle in some storytelling along the way.
We needed to get them there feasibly and realistically.
Right.
It's not just like if Ellie was going by herself, she'd be dead. She
Well,
would have made it to Seattle.
there was something that we didn't really go over is uh, Dina kind of on their way. They predict that like, oh, it's just like it's going to rain. Next thing you know, it's a downpour.
Yeah,
But they're just basically camping.
they're camping.
I can barely camp now without being afraid of what's outside the tent. Like this is
Yeah,
the apocalypse with infected and raiders, and it's just like they have their
it,
little orange Coleman set up
it is
in the
it is kind of
woods.
you don't see any infected in this episode,
Right.
so it's almost like I kind of forgot that there was until you just said, yeah, there's the apocalypse. So I'm like, oh yeah, it kind of looks like they're having a good time.
Right. I mean,
Couple
like,
gal pals just going
yeah,
camping. Yeah,
if it
yeah,
wasn't raining, they would have s'mores. Like, it's
yeah.
just, but
Let's
anybody who
see.
has seen the clips for next week, we get the great Stephen Wright,
Mm,
who is the plays the head of the Wolves, and I think we will start to see the motivations between what we refer to as Seraphites and they have confirmed as the Wolves.
yes, and I'm here for it. Like
Yeah, I am too. You know what
I
I
don't
mean?
care. Like I'm I'm seeing so much criticism online because I don't know if you guys noticed that's what online's for.
Hot takes.
Yeah. I don't like the way she looks.
Yeah.
And Dina's really like this.
Yeah.
And Joel would okay, listen, guys, listen. If you don't like it, you write it and you get it made and you tell your story.
Well, in the game it does this. Even the
Play
fanboys
the game.
like I want more of the world. Like
Mhm.
this is about filling the cracks, filling in
Yeah.
between. This is about telling a bigger story.
What's that thing? Compendium piece?
Yeah.
You know, or just shut up and watch, enjoy it.
Yeah, if you don't want to, just go. You know what I mean?
Other
Like
stuff to watch.
there's plenty of stuff to watch. But
Or go play the game.
if you want to know more about what there is to watch, you can check out the Scene Invaders podcast on this same channel.
Ooh, yeah.
We tend to drop every Thursday or Friday so that you'll be prepared for the weekend of what to see, what to watch, and what we thought.
Oh,
But
that's a good one. Other
than that, Brad, anything before we sign off here?
I need a couple hours of just Dina's character. My God. She's so freaking charming, it bothers me.
Yeah, I need a Dina. Not like I need like a coworker of Dina who just
No kidding.
She's gonna get stuff done.
Just
She's
helpful
gonna be
and
peppy about it.
charming and
Yes.
fun and yes.
Next
More
week
Dina.
on the Scene Invaders podcast, we will have Dina. No, we won't. It's just a shame.
We won't.
No, it'll just be us and the other two.
But they're great too.
They are great as well. Alrighty. Well, tune in next week for the next episode.
Will we like this one too?
yeah. Will we like this one? What did we like? And you know what? You're not going to get necessarily a hot take here, but you will get legitimate fandom of this game / TV show / series.
Property.
There you go.
All right. We'll see y'all next week.
See you.